So when you're working on a data table experience, you're often like, oh man, I just want to fix this whole thing. I just want to make it an awesome experience. I can see all of these opportunities to fix things and to optimize, but record scratch. You probably can't build everything. You can't integrate all of your amazing ideas. And so there's always this game of prioritizing design effort and dev effort, because every single new feature or aspect of the table that you introduce needs to be developed, QA'd. You probably need to put different QA data sets into the table and see how it works. Like there's so much around all of that. And so prioritization is super important. You can't compare every single data experience like apples to apples. Not every single data experience should be like Excel or should be like Airtable or should be, so refined around a really specific set of features. They have really different purposes and different meanings behind all of those types of features. So what we've done is we've put together just a loose kind of categorization of these kind of table experiences so that you can use that as a framework to prioritize stuff that seems more important than other stuff. And so what we've looked at and we've seen across all these different enterprise software products is that there are some trends. There actually are ways to categorize different table experiences. Let's kick off with an action-oriented table. So these really emphasize actions, executing stuff, doing things. It's more kind of tangible, or you might want to grab things a little bit more on a data table experience like that. You're not necessarily diving into the data and all the nuances and trying to find stuff. You're actually executing your daily work. So an example of this would be like a billing page on a practice management software. Maybe people have a queue. It's almost a bit more like a list than it is a table in a way. You're just trying to verify a couple pieces of information and then, hit as billed or send the bill, complete the transaction, something like that. So you're kind of going through systematically and making something happen. Another example might be something where you're in a table view and you're categorizing or making decisions on each of the rows. And so that could be something where it's super action oriented. Maybe you're grouping things, maybe you're categorizing rows, who knows? But the point is that you're in there and you're executing actions, maybe several different kinds of actions, primary and secondary. And so you want to be thinking a lot about the interaction design type of stuff that is surrounding those tables. The next one is information-oriented tables and table experiences. This emphasizes the use cases around comparing and parsing, looking at data. So maybe you're looking at a complex data set, like a manufacturing data set, let's say. They're really big. They have tons of columns, rows, like everything. They're pretty complicated, pretty huge. And you're trying to figure out, okay, comparing two different factories and one has quality issues and one doesn't, like what are the main differences between them? Let's say something like that. These kind of information seeking experiences or information oriented experiences is where you really have to think about the visual experience as well as any kind of features that are centered around filtering and searching and finding within your table. People might be looking to glance and compare between rows, compare between columns. They might be trying to whittle down to a specific list. They might not be trying to remove anything and they're just trying to highlight certain things and sort and filter, all of that kind of thing. So this is really where people they're almost directly interfacing with the database. It's kind of an interesting way to think about that. Number 3, you have a super user table. It's kind of both. It's like an action-oriented table, an information-oriented table, coming together to make a super user baby. So basically, you want to be parsing through a ton of different information and executing actions. So you're going deeper into kind of analysis as well as making stuff happen. You could also call this the granddaddy of all tables. Something like, let's say you have a practice management tool and you've got billing information, insurance information, how long the patient's been there, how many bills they've had. Like you have just this huge amount of data and you can process multiple actions in there. So you need kind of a level of sophistication and nuance that you might not really need with more utilitarian or more basic types of table experiences. So There's lots of nuances in there between these types of tables, but we do see them as a useful way to kind of categorize in order to do some prioritization and figure out what's important.